Thank you for listening mindfully. I'm going to speak mindfully by sitting mindfully rather than standing. It's pretty easy to notice the stark differences between the street road in New Hope, where I live, and the street road in North Philadelphia, where the grass is a little less glossy and manicured, mailboxes a little less adorned with all kinds of crazy things that I see. And the bus stops. Well, actually there aren't very many bus stops in New Hope. I'll let you try and figure out why not. It doesn't take too much mindfulness to see the differences between central and lower Bucks counties. But that's not the whole story. There are many unlucky kids who end up in foster care who are actually right in front of your nose, could actually be sitting next to you. I believe you have to look very carefully at the people around you to notice whether a family is struggling, and then take action in some small way to help them. Kids end up in foster care because nobody was really paying attention. This social aberration that we see in even the wealthiest of neighborhoods isn't as much about poverty or race as you might think. It's about the moment when life's challenges get in the way of raising a happy, healthy child. Overwhelming bills lead to frustration and anger. Addictions lead to impatience and abuse. Depression leads to negligence. Suddenly, these everyday struggles can overwhelm a family, and the result is a child with no reliable, safe, consistent, unconditionally loving parent or parents. The result is a child who finds himself in a group home with other abandoned and abused and neglected children. The result is a child who is angry and resentful, confused, in shock, behind in school, with nobody putting them first. The social welfare system takes them from their family, puts them into a group home or safe and loving foster family if they're extremely lucky, and keeps them alive. That's their job. And when they turn 18, they sit in a large room filled with social workers and caseworkers and a judge and all kinds of wonderful people, and are bombarded with questions about what they want to do now that they've turned 18. Do you want to leave the system, they ask them? Do you want to stay in the system and get a board extension for a few more years? Where do you want to live? Now, I can't see you because there's a super bright light in my eyes, so I'm going to trust that you will respond honestly to this question. How many of you have 17 or 18-year-olds? Okay. What would your 18-year-old say if faced with that question? I'm guessing it would be, go to college. Seems like a pretty normal response if you, a normal 18-year-old, were asked. Well, that's easier said than done when you've bounced from foster home to group home, school district, to homeschooling, or no schooling at all. Not exactly college ready. So when my dad died, suddenly at 69 of a heart attack, and the anger, in shock and sadness had worn off just a little, I went into some kind of urgent state of must do something to make him proud of our family name, because it was just me that was left as a Leonard. I selfishly wanted to see his name every day in my inbox, to remind me of him and to remind myself that life is bigger than my own personal and professional accomplishments. And so the RJ Leonard Foundation was formed, with little help in a $250 donation, a tax guy who helped me with some arduous paperwork, and a strong urge to help and mentor and support marginalized and at-risk youth in Bucks County, because that's where I lived, specifically those who are aging out of the foster care system. And here's why that demographic spoke to me. I don't come from foster care, neither did my father. My mom and dad were teachers. I'm an education consultant, and I know that without an education, we are all doomed. Sounds dramatic, that's what I believe. 3% of foster care youth graduate from college versus 40% of the normal population. In this room, it's probably closer, your population is probably closer to 70%. That's 3%. 25% of foster care youth will end up incarcerated at some point in their lives, experience early pregnancy, or will be homeless. Each time a foster care youth fails to launch into self-sufficiency, financial self-sufficiency, and falls back onto the welfare system, it costs the taxpayer, that's you guys, $300,000 a year. Lost tax revenue, welfare, and other entitlement costs. The good news is that if we can help them extend their education past high school, they have a much greater chance of breaking that cycle of poverty forever. Passing that education, the passion for education, and their career achievements onto their children and their children's children. The foundation is currently serving 12 foster care youth, and we're growing, with a goal of serving 15 to 20 by the end of next year. We've expanded to serve Montgomery County, which is huge. Since its inception, this tiny foundation's budget has grown from $250,000 to, by the end of this year, $100,000. Still small, but very powerful in so many ways. We don't simply write checks and then walk away. Every dollar we invest in our fellows, as we call them, is carefully considered, and every fellow is given a lifelong, hands-on, very committed mentor. We customize our financial, our transportation, and culturally enrichment scholarships very carefully based on the specific needs of our individual beneficiaries. Our goal is to put these young adults on the same level playing field as their more affluent peers, so that they have the same opportunities to be happy, healthy, productive members of society. Each fellow costs us approximately $3,750 a year. The math is super easy. If we work with a fellow for 4 years and they attain their college degree, it has cost the community $15,000. We are 100% privately funded, no money coming from the government. So that $15,000 translates into $275,000 less than what it would cost if they fail to launch and fall back onto the welfare system after they age out at 21. October 21st sees our second annual fundraiser. We're auctioning off a trip to Spain, sleigh rides, chefs who will come to your house and cook you dinner on those busy evenings, and other really great items. It's at Cedarbrook Country Club, just around the corner, I believe. So I would invite you to please come, meet some of our board members, meet our fellows, hear from our mentors, figure out how you can be involved if you'd like to be. We hope that you see that being mindful of the nuances of the families around you and the people around you can lead to very fulfilling experiences in life, because that's personally what I have experienced, and I'm sure Delana, where did she go? Would tell you as well. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
That was perfect.